if I could trade 4 pairs, what 4 pairs would there be? Let me tell you, if I could trade 4 pairs, the first one would be the Euro USD. The reason why, it's a very solid pair. It's conservative, but yet you still get really great move out of it. The 60 minutes itself, typically once it starts running, it's not too crazy. It doesn't jerk you around. It usually goes in one direction. So I like the Euro USD. That's one of my first currency that I like, and it's recognized. Obviously, it's the euro and the dollar, so it's it has a lot of liquidity in it. So I feel good about trading that. The second pair that I like trading is the dollar yen. Dollar yen also, it has a pretty good range. The daily range, the Euro USD has anywhere from 80 to about anywhere from 60 to about 100 pips on a good day. That's its range. The dollar yen also, when it's running, has about the same. I like the dollar yen, the USD yen, for the simple fact it's the dollar, it's strong, and also for the yen. And I know um, both countries are very solid. Their fundamentals as far as what they want to do with their currency, where they're going, and there is nothing radical about it. It's great strength. My other currency, the other currency that I like to trade, my third one would be, even though it's a yen pair, is the euro yen. The euro yen, the reason it's this one, the euro yen, I like it. It has a huge range. Range, sometimes it can pay you 260 pips, sometimes it could be 280 pips, sometimes it's 100, but you can count on getting 100 pips out of that currency. And here's why I like it. When it's making a move long or short, you can get 30-40 pips very quickly out of it. It's once it pops off, it goes, and you can even catch it in the middle. I like that. That's one thing I like about it. The second thing that I like about it is this. Once you understand it, it's not difficult to trade. What I mean by this, this particular currency, the euro, for example, if it's going long, in order for it to go long, the dollar has to be going long or short. If it's for it to go long or short, the USD yen has to be going long or short. But however, the Euro USD has to be held in place. So basically, it's not dropping much or it's not pushing much. Then that will help it. That would help it move. So typically, when I'm trading it, I tend to look at the Euro USD. If the Euro USD and the dollar yen are going in the same direction, they're both going long, oh man, that currency, you can bet it's gonna fly off the handle. I mean, like, it'll be unbelievable. All you have to do is to be able to watch, is the dollar yen and the Euro USD, are they both going long or short? If they are, this currency will go at least 140, 150 pips. That's major. That's why I like trading it. And I know if the dollar yen is dropping, I don't have to worry. I can take it short. For every 1 pip the dollar yen drops, typically it drops about 4 or 5 pips. I can get more out of it that way. So that's why I like trading this one. The last currency that I can say that I like trading at the moment, that I've been really looking at, is the I have to say the pound dollar. The pound dollar is that's also another solid currency. You're talking about the pound. There is a lot of liquidity in it. The moves are very slow to follow. They not too many jerks up and down, and the pound is very strong. Everyone knows that. People always look to the pound. It's a very strong currency. So you also get paid quite a lot, and also because it's the dollar, and I typically watch it. It goes in the same direction as the dollar yen. If the dollar yen is dropping a whole bunch, it will follow. It will follow the dollar yen. So those are my 4 favorite currency, and that's why I trade. That's why I trade those. So for you, tonight, what I'm doing, I'm taking. So you want to talk about the entries on the 5 minute again. Okay, no problem. So let's pick one. Let's say this is the euro yen. Okay, this is the 5 minute chart, and I'm going to explain it. Let's see what's the best way. Okay, let me do it right here. Let me make this bigger. The 5 minute chart is, this is the euro yen. First of all, you want to pay attention to it. You want to trade it. For example, when the market first opened, like Asia, typically I don't trade this because it's too noisy. I don't like it. I tend to avoid it. It goes up and down. It's kind of flat. If you notice, it stayed at the bottom of the ocean. It didn't really do much. Huge drop here. Then after that, it kind of ranged out, up and down, up and down. It doesn't pay you much, like 2-3 pips. Now, to make this even a lot easier for you guys to understand, think of it like this. This is your 60 minutes, okay, for the euro yen. Now, if you're looking at it, if you want your entry to be perfect, you're saying, okay, where is my 60 minutes at? You're looking at it, you notice that it's short. But however, it's making its way trying to go long. So you will notice that Cobra is no longer way at the bottom, and Priceline is not way at the bottom anymore. It's getting closer to Cobra. So as soon as you start noticing that, your next thing is to start looking at the 5 minutes to see where it's at. If you was trying to go long, so in this case, you're trying to, what you're going to want to see is, where are you at the bottom? Where is Cobra? Is price all the way at the bottom? Is it short? And is it looking to turn to go long? Because the 60 minutes is trying, price is getting closer to it. So you're trying to put the 2 and 2 together. 60 minutes is looking to go long. Price, like right here, if you're looking at it, let me shrink this so you can see it better. The price line was at the bottom right here. So the moment Cobra start turning to go, you see that first candle going long, and you already know the 60 minute wants to go long. You're going to try to catch this early. So you start to go, and you start taking it. At the moment, this is what I call, this is just a jerk in the market. You know, it's nothing major. I mean, I was in some trades earlier. I got some pips already. I saw these at the, the dollar yen, the pound yen. I was in that, and I got like 35 or 40 pips out of each one of them. And then I think I'm up like 15 pips in the dollar yen. I'm going to close that pretty soon here before it goes down. But what it is that I saw them at the very bottom. I can tell it was done, but I'm looking at this move right here. I have a bar here, a blue bar. That could be a continuation. But I'm looking at the 5 minutes. It's not pushing too hard. It stopped a little bit. There could be a pullback in the 5 minutes. Now, as you can tell, Cobra is trying to turn short because pricing is trying to come down, but it's holding. That's how I use it. I usually like to take it at the beginning. If you take this at the beginning when it started, price was at 141.11, okay? And right now it's at 141.40. So you have a lot of room for error. You're waiting for the 1 minute to show up. For the 1 hour to show up. It hasn't confirmed yet, but you're already up 40 pips. Can call that a good, so far, it's pretty good. You don't even have to trade the hour at this point if you don't want to. But that's usually how I get my entry. And I don't rush to get every single entry, like short, long, short, long. If this goes short, I wouldn't take it because this move on the hour just started. it hasn't completed yet. I haven't seen a blue candle yet for me to actually think, oh my God, this is the reversal on the 5 minutes. That's just nonsense. I'm gonna wait. But keep in mind, even this move, it's been going on for hours. It's been ranging, and it's been sitting there, and then took a small breath here, then it popped up. So I was in this early on when I saw it going down. So you have to pay attention to get the best possible price. If price, let's say, drop at a certain level, you're looking at your price line to see where it's at in the ocean in comparison to Cobra, see if it's getting there, and you're paying attention to your 5 minutes to see, are you at the bottom of the ocean if you're looking to go long, or if you're at the top looking to go short. That's my entry. That's how I define my entry, and that's how I get into it. You guys want to talk about the 1 minute? I do not trade the 1 minute. So if you guys are looking at this anyways, look at the 5 minutes right there. It's kind of like sitting there. It's not doing much. But let me tell you how I look at the 1 minute. I do pay attention to it just as guidance. For example, I'm looking at it right now. The 5 minute pushed up, let's say, and I'm looking at it, right? And it's stalling, and I'm looking at the numbers. You guys are traders. You obviously going to be thinking about this. Where did, let's say in the euro-yen, where did it stop? Where did price stop? Well, during that push, it went to as high as 140, 149. So typically, those numbers, remember, 50, 75, and zeros, double zeros, they are very hard. They usually have support or resistance there. Obviously, at the moment, the euro-yen is getting some resistance, getting to 50 with 140, 150, right? It can't get past that right now. So I'm looking. So right here, the 1 minute already told me, okay, you're gonna get some resistance. So they're going short. Took a breath, and it's going short again. So I generally speaking, that's how I look at it to see, is this completely done? Is this in line, or it's going to start dropping? That's about the only time I look at it. But I don't sit there. I don't get into trade, even though I know I have a couple clients. That's what they like to do. They like to trade, as they call it, the 1 minute. They say they would like to carve the 1 minute, going short, long. But there is so many, like, it's so noisy. I mean, to take this long and then to reverse and take that's too much. But if you're just looking at it, just like right here, it's just guidance. It's showing you that was the top of this trade at 49. The 5 minute says, okay, that's it. It's stopping right here. And then if you look, price did, in fact, go right above the ocean line. And once it got there, it met with serious resistance, and it started dropping. And the 1 minute will guide you that way. If you're paying attention to it, a lot of people will say, well, this is a breath, it's going to go back up. But if you're paying attention to the 1 minute, you can say, well, the 1 minute is still going short until it turned, trying to go long, and the ocean is pointing straight up. I would not be taking that going long. The 5 minute could go all the way back where it came from. That's huge. But that's how I do the 1 minute. You gotta pay attention to it. It gives you kind of somewhat, guidance where you are. Because I know there are people that trades like this. For example, I have a gentleman. He trades strictly reversal. What that means is this: the market could be dropping 250 pips long way. Going short. Let's say any currency, it's dropping 200 pips. He can see the beginning of the hour. He would prefer to wait and trade the reversal. It's beyond me, but this is how he's trained, and that's how he's built. That's how his mind works. He only likes to trade reversals. I can't do it. So this is how right now you're looking at the 1 minute. It's gonna range out, but don't get too caught up in it. And it's so noisy. Don't think, oh, this is long, short. I mean, it's gonna be changing on you so much. But right here, the 5 minutes, if you're looking at it, it is short. pricing is at 34. Could it pop back up? Yes. And it could. The candle is getting a little bit bigger. So that's a 10 pip drop from where Euro Yen was. A lot of people trade that. They just put their entry right up there at 50, but sometimes they'll just blow right through it. But usually 95% of the time, as price is moving or going down, that number 50, it'll test it first before it goes through it. Any questions? Now I'm going to this is the pound Aussie. Okay, I was watching this currency. So yesterday it dropped considerably. Like it went from 83.11, it went all the way down to 81.18, 200 pips. It's been on a terror. Look, it started dropping from here, took a small breath, doom. I mean, like it dropped like 400 pips. So I'm watching this currency, and it kept on dropping. And if you look at it, if you look at the time right here, at about 11, so it was about 6 o'clock, 6:30, and I'm paying attention to this. 9, like 6, 7 o'clock, price was way down there, and it started pulling back. So if you guys wake up at about 4:30, 5:30, just before you get into your trade, first thing I do is this: I look at my which currency went long, which currency went short. That's the first thing. Second, I look at where they stopped. If it was 150 pip move, 200 pip move. So if it was, let's say 200 pip moves, the pound Aussie, I'm like, okay, this currency, that's good for it. That's probably it. And then I'll look at what price is, and I'll start paying attention to the candle. If the next one is just about the same length, I'm going to start looking at reversals. Then this thing, it pulled back almost 100 pips. It went the other way. Very easy. So this is the time I like to trade. I continue in at about 4:30, so I can catch the tail end of London, and I start trading the US market. And really comes, unless we have, for example, tomorrow morning, which is huge, guys. For some of you guys who are trading tonight, we have FOMC, we have a bunch of news on the pound, we have a lot of stuff in on the US side, and they are like at 11 o'clock in the morning. I think we have something. Let me see. Well, let me put it up. We have a ton of news. I'm going to put it up in a second. So you do not want to trade tonight. It's going to be extremely choppy. If not, you're going to see it could be very flat too, because for obvious reason, major news coming, no one wants to commit to anything. So that's when I like to trade. London session, 11:30. I start looking at stuff 11:30, and then I rest in between. Tail end. If I miss a trade, I don't chase. If I miss a drop or a long, I don't chase it. I'll wait for it because I know it's going to come back. It's going to retrace. And just so you guys know, most currencies will retrace sometimes 30-40% of a drop. So don't think that, oh my god, you miss a trade. You can catch catch it on the way back. So don't even worry about that. So that's that. And then let me look at position trading is very slow. This is why we only have 60 minutes for our chart daily and weekly. All you are doing is, realistically speaking, you are actually supposed to be trading only when the star, the moon, earth, everything lines up. Okay, so realistically speaking, so basically if your weekly is long, your daily is short. You're 4 hours short. Position trading, you are not supposed to be taking any trade because you are not everything is lined up. But you can speed up the process. At the moment in the euro yen, the weekly is actually long. The daily is short, even though it dropped some, but the candle is still it's still looking a little bit smaller, and it's still making its way, but it still ways to turning to go long, so it could be in sync with the weekly. At the moment it is short. Your 4 hour is short, but it's also trying to break to go long. If you're looking at your 60 minutes, it just turned long. So now what you're hoping for is more push. It's at the bottom of the ocean, and you're going to start going. But ideally, the way you do position trading is like this. If your weekly is short, your daily is short, whenever it's dropped, you start placing trades in your daily, the further away it is. So now you have to keep into it. This is what it is. This is why you have to get your daily at the very first day. So for example, if you get into this trade, you should be long at 134.28. The daily turn long, the weekly turn long right here. So when the daily takes a breath, it's never going to get back to your price. Anytime the daily took a breath, like right here, you would watch it, and as soon as the daily turned to go back long, you would add more money to your trade right here. It'll keep on going. You'll just allow it to go. When the daily takes another breath going short, you would wait for it to turn long, and you move on and keep on going. That's primarily how you trade. You do position trade. Very methodical. It's very slow. You're gonna end up with several trades. Now let's say the dollar yen. The dollar yen was at 101.28 earlier. Okay. For currency they're trying to get to 110, it's pulling back quite a lot. Some people say it was gonna go to 101.75. What all this nonsense? Okay. I'm long in the dollar yen. I'm holding on to some position. I'm just like whatever. I'm long, but I'm not long at the very top. I'm long at like bottom 101, 101.50, 101.30, something like that. 101.50. I'm long. So right now, it dropped 101 to 101.28. There was no need for me to add to my position because it's not that deep yet for me to add to it. If should they decide to take this to 100, while most people would probably be crying, for me it would be I would be happy, because I know overall when you're doing position trade, the very first thing that you have to do is research. What that means when I say research is this: where is your currency going? The dollar yen, for example, this is a currency that's going long, meaning the government of Japan, they are trying to weaken the yen, so it's going long. That's why everybody's kind of like confused right now, because it's being traded at 101.28. It's like, where's the top, where's the bottom? No one seems to know. People are getting chopped up in that currency. So as you are trading the euro yen, you have to be very careful with that. Same with the dollar. So you have to be patient when you are doing position trade. So that's the way you do it. Every single time there is a drop, you add to it, and that is pretty much that. But in between, this is why I tell you guys, when you guys have European account, I trade with a European account because it allows me, when I'm in it, like for example, the euro yen and the dollar yen, I'm in trades in both of them. When the euro yen drops, and if I happen to go long, not only do I add position in between, I'm also looking at, for example, let me switch this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. If this right now, hopefully the euro yen will pop back up, it'll go back long, but the 5 minutes right here, for me, look, it's at the bottom of the ocean. it was dropping. I'm not gonna try to take this short here at 41.22. It already dropped 30 pips from its high. I'm just gonna wait. If it's gonna go short, I'm gonna wait for it to just give me another push back up. The EURUSD tonight, guys, I'm telling you, they're gonna be doing a lot of faking because of all the news that's coming out. You have to be really careful taking shorts and long. It's gonna go do those things. Huge like push up, retreat, push down, pull back. It's gonna range out until tomorrow morning. But if this goes, if you took it from the top, which is 50, you have nothing to worry about. They are not going up there tonight. Not likely. So just pay attention. So if you want to get short, when the euro yen goes short, allow the 5 minutes. It's already at the bottom of the ocean. Allow it to go back up a little bit. Hopefully it'll swing back up to like 36. It will at some point tonight. It probably will go back up and test that again. When you see it, then you can take it short and then get out of it. But let's wait to see if you can get up there before you take it. The EUR/US is pushing back up again. It probably go back up, and that's why I like this currency. Two currencies control it. The EUR/USD controls it, and the dollar yen. Either one of them is dropping, it will drop the euro yen. For it to go long, one of them has to go long, and the other one has to be holding. So once you understand that, it's easy to trade those. The 5 minutes right here. For example, the dollar yen is turning, Cobra is changing color on both of those currencies, right? Look, the EUR/USD itself, the 5 minutes is already turned. It went right there. This just turned, and it turned at like 45, and the euro yen turned long at 24. And we're sitting there. You can, as soon as you see this, you're paying attention to it. To see the ocean is pointing up a little bit. It's just dropped. Like I said earlier, you're just gonna be very careful with it. And then you're looking at because one of you guys asked me about the 1 minute. This is when you're paying attention to the 1 minute to see where your 1 minute is. It's long, and the 1 minute also guide you into your trade. This is what I mean. That's all I use the 1 minute for. I don't trade it, even though a lot of people like to do that. That's too much work for me. I think this is gonna range out for a little while. It's not gonna, if people, a lot of people try to get like 2, 3 pips, 4 pips. I can't. I mean, for me, when I'm trading, I go something like this. I'm going to take this at the very bottom, at the beginning of a good session. I'm going to be like, okay, this is about to break. The 5 minutes doesn't sit there and keep running up and down, up and down. I mean, that'd be too easy. Once the move is done, it's going to range out in the 5 minutes. But that's what you'll be looking for. But if you're looking at it, some people trying to get this at 24 and reversed it and be up 4 or 5 pips. Like right now it's at 30. It's a huge thing, but I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know why. To me that's like it's much more work to do that versus if you start knowing your currency. You know your currency has a specific range, either 80 pips or 100 pips, and in that last move right here, it went from, let's see, from 13, pushed up to 50, went to 49. That's the first range. You're thinking about it, just pay like 40 pips. Now that's up and down. So the low for today in that currency, in the euro yen, was 41.05. The high, 41.95. The question is it going to break that low, or is it going to continue later on during the European session where they're going to make it go and test 142, which it already, I believe it did yesterday. That's what you're looking for. That's how you get to know your currency. But looking at the 5 minutes, it broke. It's at 31. You're paying attention to it. You're just trading that. This one is at 50. you have a few pips, but don't expect any huge miracle because the thing just went up, took a breath. So don't expect any huge miracle. And you looking at the ocean, see for the euro yen, it's getting to be a little flatter, meaning it's not pointing straight up versus I like it better if it's about to go long. When the ocean is actually way up there, you can see this thing is about to run like crazy. But this is how you guys catch it, guys. Very simple. You're looking at it. It turned, Cobra changes, you grab it at the very bottom, price was at the bottom, and you can take that. Same over here. The Euro USD did the same thing. It did that at 16. Right now it's at 19. It's at 20. By the time you pay your spread, that's 2 pips. Why? Because it's ranging. Now it's at 32. You have a blue candle here right now. That means this is a solid. Me, I'm like, for me, at this point, it's like, so Eugene wants to know, so for swing trading, you enter your trades on the 5-minute chart. Yeah, you'd see what it is that for my swing trade, I look at the 60 minutes. It gives me a good indication of where I am. I will look at, for example, I use the 5 minutes as an early entry.